Hello and welcome to Book Talks with Sandy. I am so elated. This is our Sunday Book Talks with Sandy, Book Talks of Sunday Conversation. I am so excited to have you guys here with me again on this amazing Sunday afternoon. We were just here on yesterday, and did we not have a phenomenal conversation? I always have a glare in these classes. But listen, I am so thankful that you're here. Book Talks with Sandy is a weekly segment. We're on each and every Saturday afternoon, Central Standard Time at 3 o'clock p.m., where we interview authors and anthology book projects, the visionary authors, along with their contributing authors. And then we also have authors such as the solo project of the author that I will be talking with on today. So excited. So you all know that this is a platform for those type of authors as well as, yes, you. And what do I mean by that? It is for you because you may just be looking for a good book to read. And so I am so excited. Here's what I always ask you to do. Go ahead and share it out. Get it out to your community. You community leaders, you have those groups. I want you to send it over to your group, your community, and let them know we're having another amazing conversation this afternoon on Book Talks with Sandy. So without further ado, I am going to go ahead and bring on, hi, beautiful, all the way from St. Croix. Hi, Johanna. Thank you and yes, we are wearing our beautiful jewelry from our dear friend. And yes, indeed. Thank you so much for sharing. And without further ado, we're going to bring on our author guest today because I want to dig really deep in our conversation of how important it is for our community, the Black community, the African American community, and the future of our young men, our boys, our sons, our nephews, and future husbands and future fathers, future leaders in this country and in this world. And God has given a mandate, I believe, and a mantle upon this young, great man of God. And without further ado, I am going to bring on none other than Mr. I hope I'm saying that first name right, Mr. Aubrey Taylor. Hello. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I am doing great. Thank you. So I know people, they want to add some extra letters on in there behind that A. And so go ahead and pronounce it directly for me.
It's Abra, long
Abra.
A. Yes, like Abraham, but no ham, just Abra.
Okay. So there's always a method behind it. Well, you have an amazing supporting person that is on with us. She is from the beautiful island of St. Croix, and it is my dear friend. She's a business author, owner. Yes, blessed queen. Yes, all the way from the
Awesome.
Caribbean. And so, yes, indeed, we say hello to her.
Awesome. Hey, how
Yes,
are
yes.
you?
She is. She's amazing. And she says, hello, Mr. Taylor. And so we're going to go ahead and get this information and let's get our conversation started. You are a community leader, advocate, mentor for so many young men. And it's such an amazing, I want to bring up the banner information. And then you have this empowering book, and you all, yes, I have my signed copy, Empowered Black Young Youth through Mentoring. And so just want to share a little bit about who you are to our audience. And you all, I really want you to get it out. Let's do some quick sharing before I do this, because I really want to. So how's your day going? How's your Sunday going? And you have such a beautiful family. So yes, share with us. You go to church where here? Come on and tell me.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah. I mean, my son is going great.
Awesome.
As a matter of fact, we just got out of church maybe about we got home maybe about an hour ago from church.
Uh-huh.
So,
Uh-huh.
but church is something we do every Sunday. So a little about myself. I'm a pastor's son, so I'm a PK, preacher's kid.
Yes. Yes, you are.
So born and raised in the church, and then also born and raised here in Gulfport, Mississippi as well. And so I have three children. My wife and I, we have three kids. We've been married for 8 years, and
Yes.
I'm an author. Working on being an entrepreneur. I actually just recently resigned from a company to kind of pursue some things that I've actually been kind of working on, more so to kind of focus on some things that I've been working on. So I actually recently resigned from the banking industry. I was actually a branch manager for one of the local banks here in Gulfport.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
so and I'm actually working on the second book. It's a little bit different than the first one that I wrote,
Okay.
but it has it has a strong message as well. And so,
Awesome.
um, I can kind of give a little bit about that later if you want to know about
Yes.
that. But yeah, but
Awesome.
uh,
So you came out of the business. You along with quite a few individuals that I'm seeing, and is that you're branching out. Yeah, we're coming out of the corporate world,
yes, ma'am.
and just pursuing our God gift talents and
Hmm.
what God has given unto us to do as I call it ministers in the marketplace.
Hmm.
Yeah, and how God is using us, and so we're so thankful for that. Um, this particular book, and I want to also do something here. I want everyone to see this, and we're going to start our conversation from this photo that I want to share with our screen because I think it speaks volumes of who you are. And we just kind of prolong a little bit because I want everyone to really know you. And I
Yes,
want
ma'am.
to share my screen. Um, and I want to share this particular picture of you. Let's see, is this the one I want to show? Yes. You all look at this. Look at this. Tell us about this moment. And I'm going to see if I can bring it up just a little bit more. I don't know if this will, no, that took it away, didn't it? Let's see here. Okay, well, this is just us. I want to try to bring it back. What is going on here? Tell me what was going through your mind and your spirit with this picture.
Yeah, so right there, my wife and I, we were actually in the mountains in Colorado, Colorado
Uh-huh.
Springs, and so it was just one of those moments, man. I felt so empowered, and that's the feeling that I felt once on top of we were at the highest part of the actual mountain,
Uh-huh.
being in that actual photo, and so
Uh-huh.
kind of like when my book is empowering Black youth through mentoring. And so for me, empowering is so important in so many aspects,
Yes.
whether it be mentoring, whether it be just being a leader amongst people just in general, and being able to empower them. And that's one of the things that, I often preach to my guys, and just, the power of empowering,
Uh-huh.
because it helps others, it helps yourself, it helps your community. Um, and so that photo alone, it just, that sums it all up, just a sense of empowerment.
Wow, wow. I when I saw it, I came and I of course went to your Facebook page. And when I saw that, I had to open it up. I was like, there's something behind, you see your hands stretched out and you see all the beautiful mountains and
Right.
everything there. Excuse me. And I said, oh my goodness, there has to be something. What was going through his mind when you took that picture?
Right.
And so, as you just elated, is that it's about being empowered for sure.
Hmm.
Um, so we're talking about this book. You are a mentor to about what, 15, 20 young men?
Yeah. So right now, so my mentoring program, which is the League of Distinguished Gentlemen, we actually have a total of 35 active guys right now. Yeah.
35.
Yeah. So that's
35, 35 moms and dads that said, yes, we trust our sons with you.
absolutely, absolutely. And so it's actually 35 and counting, because we actually just did an informational meeting
Uh-huh.
on last Sunday. So the way we have our program set up, we do 2 induction classes a year, which is spring and fall. And so
Okay.
this last week was our fall induction informational meeting. So that 35 number, it's more than likely is going to increase.
You're needed in our community. You and I both know, living on the coast, Lord, we have had a tremendous amount, not just over the United States, but when it hits close to home,
Absolutely.
The gun violence among our
Yes.
young people. And those of you, about 2 years ago, I reached out to Minister Taylor, and because the Lord had just pressed upon my heart about praying for our community. And I knew, I didn't know at that time, but I know better now, how important that day was.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
we, our community, we were beginning to see younger and younger, and we're still beginning to see it. But I want to share with you what took place on that day. And you probably got the report, but one of your, what has kept me going is one of your young men came up to me and he just said, Miss Sandy, thank you for doing this. And I, you know, we take kids to church. They grow up in church or they don't grow up in church, but they go to church. And and to think that you're, you know, they were so obedient and everything, and they came out and such gentlemen, and your team and those that you sent there, your leaders, and but for him to say, Miss Sandy, thank you.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
there we were praying against gun violence and shootings in schools and neighborhoods. That means is that they want our young people, they want our help. They want us to be there for them and help them along the way. And so I want to share that. I wanted to share that with you. That has been with me over this past 2 years, because I said, then if he came up to me and said that, then Lord, I must be doing something right.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes. So mentoring, how did you come to know that this was your call on life?
So, like I said, I grew up in the church my whole entire life. My dad is a pastor. So I grew up in a great household, mom and dad, both in the church, raised me in the church. However, growing up, we lived in the hood. And so the environment, it had a lot to offer. So, you know, as I had good teaching inside the home, but as I got outside those doors, there were some other things that I was exposed to that my parents didn't teach. And so even early on in my early years, you know, I had my share of trouble and bumping my head, and kind of had to learn from some mistakes and that kind of thing. And so fast forward, as I, you know, got older, became more mature, I started to realize, and, you know, after bumping my head a few times, and God allowed me to get a second chance at certain things. So I got in some trouble my freshman year in college. Got in trouble, got kicked out. And from there, I was like, man, this is it, you know? So, you know, I you know, the trouble that I was into, I wasn't able to go back to school at that particular time. 2 years had passed. And then at that point, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna just see if I can get back in school. And so I was denied from a lot of the colleges. There was one college that actually gave me an opportunity, and they put me on academic probation at that particular time. And then from there, I think that was probably one of the first time I really took school serious. And so from there, I was A and B on a roll, graduated, got my bachelor's degree. And then as I was going through my undergrad, you know, I was just thinking, I was like, man, the same neighborhood that I grew up in, there's young people that's actually doesn't have. I think one of the things that helped me, every time that I would do something bad or do something wrong, I would hear my dad in my ear, you know.
I was about to say that.
And so, you know, every single time I will always hear, you know, a lot of the teachings, you know, when I'm doing something wrong or doing something bad. And so, and so when I actually got in trouble and had to go through my trials and that kind of thing, a lot of that wisdom and teachings that they were teaching, my mom and dad was teaching me, that's when it really started to hit. You know, when I got in trouble, God allowed me to sit my butt down and really listen. And so, and at that point in time, you know, things start, you know, I got back in school. I was able to get my degree. I was able to, you know, I had a decent job at the time. And so, and so from there, I was like, man, there's kids that's in that same neighborhood that I grew up in that they don't have the household that I had. So
That's right.
they, they don't know another way. They only know probably whatever is exposed in their environment.
Mhm.
That's all they possibly know. And so me, I was like, man, I want to do something. I want to do more,
Yeah.
and so I came up with this idea of doing a youth summit for males, a male youth summit. I was talking to my brother about it, and he was like, man, just do it, man. I got your back. I'm behind you 100%.
Yeah.
And so we put it together. We did it at my dad's church. Put it together. I mean, we had a great turnout. And during
Mhm.
that time, the day that we actually did the event, it was actually on a Saturday of they had the Black Spring Break here. And so a lot of the
Okay.
moms, they would drop their sons off and they would go, do
And they
whatever
will
they was
go
gonna
out,
go do.
yeah, to spring
Yeah.
break.
And so and so we had a great turnout, man. And then from there, some of the speakers that I actually had for the actual program,
Uh-huh.
we got together afterwards, and one of the guys, he ran a similar mentoring program some years ago, and then it kind of fell through the cracks, and so um, he was one of my speakers,
Uh-huh.
and so he pulled all us together afterwards. He was like, "Man, this is amazing, man. We need to make this permanent. We should do this permanent." And then from there, we kind of brainstormed. So myself and the other co-founders, and then that's when we came up with our actual nonprofit, which is Gulf Coast Outreach and Leadership. And then underneath that, that's we created our mentoring program, the League of Distinguished Gentlemen. That was actually
Mhm.
the first program that we created under there. We have some other programs underneath Gulf Coast Outreach and Leadership, but our
Right.
mentoring program, that's our baby. And so that was the first one that we started with. And then from there, we started doing recruiting
Mhm.
for guys. And like our first class, we had a total of about 15 guys in that first class,
Uh-huh.
and from there it just started continue to get more attention and start making it was making an impact in the community, and it's still making an impact. And so
It is.
yeah,
Yes. Yes. Keep going. Mhm.
and then so from there on, because I always knew that I was like, man, I want a mentoring program, but I never knew what I needed to do it. I just found myself always just writing down ideas on how I
Right.
want it. If I was to do a mentoring program, this is what I want. This is how I want to do it. And so
Uh-huh.
I would write it down, write it down, write it down, and I was just writing everything down. And then it all came to life.
Well, it has definitely come to light, and very well. You all, and I'm going to pull up some pictures in just a moment, but
Mhm,
um, I think what you have established, what God, the blueprint, and I just
mhm,
want to kind of share. And you're absolutely right. I mean, the color that you impart into them, the distinguishedness and
mhm,
the importance of being a male, a man, and then not just that, but a black man,
mhm.
and being whole on the inside because
Right.
it exudes as they come out. It says, I just want to share with our audience at this time, yes, is that you are the co-founder. I just want to pull over my notes here, is that you're the co-founder also of a nonprofit agency that focuses on young Black men, that you aim to encourage more Black males to step up and mentor young Black youth. And that is evergreen. I think that we will need until the end of time, I believe until the Lord Jesus come back for us, that our young Black boys are going to always need a mentor,
Absolutely.
whether it's their father, whether it's a teacher. They're yes, because and being a grandmother of three boys, I
Mhm.
have three grandsons and one granddaughter. What God has given you is so amazing and so much needed. But as you said, is that you were finding is that a lot of the children did not or do not have what you had,
Right.
and that was that godly, God-fearing household,
Mhm.
and that was firm, stern, raised you the good old-fashioned way, but it was the world. It was what outside of those doors that that is what is comes against our children
Right.
and our young Black men. And so what you have and that you aim to encourage, how have you been able to encourage other Black men to come forward as yourself to mentor young people? What have
Yeah.
been some of
So,
the things that you've done?
I mean, one of the things in my book, that's kind of one of the things that I kind of encourage is for
Mhm.
more Black men to step up to be mentors to our young Black boys. I mean,
Okay.
my biggest thing is, when teaching these our young Black men is when you know better, you do better,
Right.
and so that's the concept that I kind of preach to a lot of the other mentors and soon to be mentors, that kind of thing. And so
Yes.
like a lot of the guys that's local around here, myself and the other co-founders, they see the organization that we have and the impact that it's making. And
Yes.
so we get a lot of guys that reach out to us and was like, man, hey, man, we need something like that in whatever area that they're in, whether it's
Mhm.
a different city, different state, that kind of thing. And they do reach out to us and get
Awesome.
for advice and that kind of thing. And so
Mhm.
which that brings pleasure to my heart, you know what I mean,
I
because
yeah.
again, that's what we need more Black men to step up to be mentors. And so
Mhm.
I'm always open to when someone reach out to me and asking me for advice as far as what can they do or how can they do it, or helping them to as a matter of fact, a young lady actually reached out to me from the Wiggins area.
Mhm.
They're actually wanting a program similar to my mentoring program that's here. And so we've been back and forth there in the Wiggins area. So we're actually looking to
Awesome.
expand in that area. And so we're still kind of working out all the kinks with that. But
Yeah.
all in all, man, is the big piece is just kind of getting as many male mentors on board as possible. It doesn't
Mhm.
have to be with my nonprofit or my organization. I mean, that's something they can start on their own, or if they want to look for ways for us to expand. I'm
Yes.
open either way. At
Right.
the end of the day, the focus is the children. It's not about me. It's not about the co-founder. It's not about the name of my organization. The focus is our kids, our children, our young Black
Yes.
man.
I think what you've done, and I put a post-it because I think the key to me, I put a post-it in my book because we started out looking at the young man that's on this mountaintop,
Mm-hmm.
and who is you're on this mountain, you're and your wife, you're traveling, and you just stretch your arms out, and that being empowered and
Mm-hmm.
just being empowered by the Lord. And I came across this chapter. You said the power of the mind.
Mm.
And as I was thumbing through that chapter, kind of stuck out. There's so much meat to this. Even
Right.
mothers, women, we need to have this, especially if you have sons, you have grandsons. You want to have this book in your library because I believe, as you said, with this translation, do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. We know Romans 12:2. And so, with this, the power of the mind, and you're mentoring young men, I would think that, okay, mama put me in your program. You go through the interview process.
Right.
And is it that what you want to make sure that the young man understands and he wants your help as well,
Right.
and it becomes a partnership. Talk to
Mm-hmm.
us about that.
Yeah. Yeah. So at the end of the day, I mean, one of the things that we preach heavily to our guys is critical thinking. That's the big piece to it
Oh,
all.
good.
And
Uh-huh.
so, just with the critical piece thinking of it, but when these guys approach us and we approach them, and at that point in time, it's all about you know having an open mind to really to get out of your comfort zone, and that's the
Okay.
biggest piece, because the youth today is they, especially in the school area, I mean, there's a lot of followers,
Uh-huh.
and so that's what kind of leads to a lot of bad decisions a lot of
Hmm.
times. And
Hmm.
so what we teach heavy to our guys is to be leaders, be leaders among your peers. You have to be out of your comfort zone. Like one of the things that while they're going through their orientation process, they have to dress up every single day at school, shirt and tie,
Hmm.
dress pants, every day. And to a kid in high school, that's very uncomfortable, because
Right.
you have to deal with the pressure of people talking about you. Oh man, you church boy, or why you wearing that, or
Right,
this
right,
and
right,
that,
right,
that kind
right,
of
right,
thing. And,
right.
and instead of really just kind of but it's a method to it. It's a method of um
Exactly.
your identity, being strong within your own identity,
Right.
also getting out of your comfort zone and those kind of things. And so with everything that we do, everything that we teach, everything that we say, there's a method to everything. and
Yeah,
and
I
on the
was.
front end they don't
Mhm.
understand it, but what I come to realize as time go on, it really started to stick, and they really started to understand, especially once, we got a lot of our guys that have gone to college and have already graduated college, and they come back and they want to still help out and give advice to the young guys. And it's so
Yeah,
amazing just to kind of hear their stories and also hear their testimony as they went through our organization, our program,
right.
so
So here
yeah.
they are. Yes, I was
Right.
pulling up and I had a couple of tabs up. So excuse me as I was doing that.
Yes,
But
ma'am.
yes, here they are. Here they are, you all. Y'all forgive me. I kind of moderating here and using. These are these young men that God
Hmm.
has allowed you to mentor. And this is so amazing. And I want to show here is you getting an award and the
Hmm.
young men. And so this is an example of what God is doing in your life. This was from was this year or this was last year?
This was last year,
Right.
2020, early part of
Mm-hmm,
2020.
mm-hmm. This was the Gulf Coast Black Owned Businesses Gala. And
Yes.
I remember that gala. But these are the lives that you are touching.
Hmm.
This is so amazing. Okay, so you all, I'm not stalking his website, his Facebook page. I am on the download. Yes, I am. But I wanted to share these pictures. I came across these and I was like, oh my goodness. Because we, when you look at this, and I want to give a great big shout out, Tina. Yes, Tina Ramsey is a talk show host, podcast queen, definitely. And I say that to the point that yes, she dominates and she does very, very well. She is listening to you now, and she has an amazing podcast. Thank you for your support, and also Swag Her Magazine. That is our sponsor of today's show. I do want to thank them for
Awesome.
watching as well. And so thank you all for your support. Brenda, thank you so much for coming through and saying hello, hello, and they've shared it out. But these young men and having the power of the mind being transformed. So, experiencing new things, as you
Hmm.
say, getting them out of their comfort zone, young people having to encourage. I'm sure that you look at one point and you say, wow, look how far he has come. Look how
Hmm.
far this young man has come along. Tell us about that experience.
Yeah, I mean that's one of those things. So like I can give an example. So one of just recently our last general membership meeting, we had one of our guys that he's actually in his senior year in college. He came
Uh-huh.
home. He was home for the summer. He came and spoke, and so you know he talked about whenever he first came into the program, he had wasn't very sure of himself, had low self esteem, really wasn't didn't care too much about school, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
However, he showed up at every meeting. You know, and he was very, we held him accountable as far as, and we hold all our guys accountable as far as like communication. That's huge. If
Yes.
you're not going to make a meeting, if you can't make a meeting, it's your responsibility to let us know why you're not going to make it, you know, that kind of thing. Um, and so he was talking about, he would come to the meetings and he would listen and hear everything that we would say, but a lot of things that he would say was like, man, I don't even know what they're talking about, or it's
Mhm.
going over his head, that kind of thing.
Okay.
Fast forward, he's in his senior year in college, and he talked about he. So one incident he had, because we talk about, like with the, if you get pulled over, all of that kind of thing. Like we teach our guys, like basically just preparing them for everything, for life outside of high
Yes.
school, being proactive now, from academics, that
Mhm.
kind of thing. And so
And
one of the
that's good.
stories,
That's good that you're doing
yeah.
that. And I want you to continue with your thought, because what
Mm-hmm.
I'm hearing you say, you said about pulling over. We in our society know what our Black males and Black men, you all,
Mm-hmm.
I have a husband, so I even in our age at 60 years old, there's still a concern about a Black
Right.
man being pulled over
Absolutely.
by the police officer. And so here you are, you're teaching our young men, and these young men that are coming into your program. So go ahead. You're beginning with the real life things that are happening in life today.
Yeah, yeah. And so like one of the stories he gave was about he actually got pulled over. He was home here. And anyway, so he got pulled over. He called me the very next day. He was like, "Man, Mr. Taylor, I want to thank you so much for, the teachings that you gave us, as we were going through our process in the program." Because he said that I feel like I probably could have died last night after being pulled over had I not done the things that you guys taught us.
Wow.
And so that touched me a lot. And so then another situation he talked about was, as he was going through the program, and a lot of the things that we were say are now really starting to go into effect as to all the teachings that we taught is really starting to go into play. So he had an interview, and it was for an intern position, but it was for one of these major tech companies.
Mm-hmm.
And so the interview, it was multiple people on the actual interview. It was other interviewees being interviewed as well, but it was all virtual.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think he said it was maybe like 15 other applicants that were on this actual call. And
Mm-hmm.
so he was actually the only one that was actually dressed up, so he had shirt and tie on, and it's a virtual interview. Everybody else had on t-shirts, hoodies, that kind of thing. And so that's what set him apart from everybody else. And so the hiring manager called him afterward. He was like, man, they asked him, why were you dressed up on this interview? You didn't have to be dressed up. And he talked about, well, me going into an interview, I was always taught that, to present yourself well and be professional. And so from there, he was actually offered that position because of that, with him standing out. And so, because dressing up is a huge part of one of the things that we require in our organization. Again, like going through the orientation process, they dress up every day. And then after the orientation process, once they officially become an actual DG, a distinguished gentleman, then
Mm-hmm.
they dress up every Wednesday at school. And so he's just became
Listen, Abe,
accustomed
you
to
about to make me cry.
it. And so
I'm
he
here. You all, yes, I'm tearing up.
yeah, so he became accustomed to dressing up. And so, when that
Ooh.
situation came and him being interviewed, it wasn't something that, it wasn't a thought in his mind. Well, man, this is just a virtual call on. I don't
Yeah.
need to dress up for this, that kind of thing. No, it was an interview in his mind, and he wanted to make sure he was presented well, and he dressed up for the call and got the job because of
Well,
that.
the reason why I'm tearing up is because the life and the impact that you're making. Because I have a son,
Yes, ma'am.
and when I have an adult son, I have an adult son. Obviously, I'm 61, so I have an adult son who lives in California,
Mm-hmm.
and at the time, a few years back, and we're gonna get back to the book, y'all. I promise. We want you to get the book. Y'all need to get the book. But Mr. Abra, what was it, about 5 years ago? I had not seen my son in 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
And when there began to be the shootings and our young Black men were just getting killed,
Right.
I flew to California, and they said, why are you, I went for 3 days, only 3 days. I had no vacation time, but the Lord said, you need to go and lay hands on your child, your son. It was just so much going on. I'm a
Mm-hmm.
mother. I was fearing for my son. I just, truth be told, and I said, if he can't get here, I'm going to fly to California. My husband's like, where you go? I said, I got to go. I got to
Mm-hmm.
go. And that's what a mother does. And
Right.
so And all is well. My son's doing well, amazing dad.
Awesome.
Um,
Awesome.
so I'm thankful for that. I'm so thankful. But many mothers don't have that story. They
Right.
don't have that. And so to have someone like you in our community that is doing what you're doing, you're changing lives. The mothers, what are the testimonies from the moms and the dads?
Yeah, I mean, we get a lot of that just as well, man. Just recently I had one mother, she actually text me um about her son. She was like, there was times I could never get my son to dress up, as far, he wasn't really focused on school and grades and that kind of thing. And Miss Abra, I want to thank you so much, that kind of thing. And so and honestly, I can't take all the credit because I have a full team with me as well,
Okay.
other mentors and advisors, man. Those guys, it takes a village, and that's a
Yes.
true statement. It's a true statement. It takes a village, man. Just from the parents to mentors and that kind of things. It takes a whole village, and
Yeah.
and with my team, we all have different styles, and I think
Mhm.
with each of our style, the way we approach these guys, we make more of an impact because the way I approach one young man, my other one of the other advisors may approach it from a different aspect of it. And
Mhm.
so we're a good team,
That's great.
um and so it's just like I said, I mean, it's at the end of the day, I have to give all thanks to God, just being able to give me the strength and the mind to be able to do what I do. So
Yes. So individuals, like you said, they're seeking out the model. You have a model that is actually worldwide. In your book, you teach about. I'm just kind of going through. You're not just about the power of the mind.
mhm.
That area you talk about media, how the impact of media. That's another chapter. And Malcolm X writes, he says, the media is the most powerful entity on earth. They have the power to make the innocent guilty and the power to make the guilty innocent. And that's power because they control the mind of the masses. How did you come about teaching your young man and writing about how the impact of social media is
Yeah,
for young
so
people?
Yeah, so the media from a social media standpoint and also from the standpoint of just the news and that kind of thing. And so
Uh-huh.
oftentimes as Black men, we are portrayed in such a negative light a lot of times in the
Hmm.
media,
Hmm.
And so from the news aspect of it is, I want to make sure that we have positive stories to tell and empowering stories to tell and great accomplishments, that kind of thing. That's what I want to highlight, and that's what I want to show with the media, and that's one of the things that I teach to the guys as well.
Hmm.
That's something that you want to and show the world,
Yes.
and also too to I express to them that a lot of times in most negative situations, they'll destroy the image of a Black man by basically bringing up the past of what he's done,
Yeah.
that kind of thing.
That's
Not
good.
even not
Yes.
even focus on, okay, this guy has changed. He's doing this now. He's doing great, but they go back to your past, and then that's what they want to relive, and that's what they want to
Mm-hmm.
highlight, and just to tear your image down. And so that's one thing. And then the social media aspect of it is everybody get on social media for the likes, and so that's one of the things that I teach those guys, man. It's bigger than just that, because
Yeah.
I've seen guys that have scholarships or potential to have a scholarship for college, full ride, and the scholarship is taken away because of what they have posted on their social media.
Could you repeat that, please?
Yeah,
Yes.
so I've
Yeah,
I've
because
seen
they just don't get it.
they don't. And so from athletes have full ride scholarships,
Yeah.
and coaches see what they're a part of on their social media based on what they post and what they have highlighted and that kind of thing, and they have their scholarship is pulled because
Wow.
of what they have posted on their social media, and
And
they
say
don't
what the
understand
yeah, they
that
don't
it
understand the
yeah,
power behind
yeah, they really don't. And even on an interviewing, you're interviewing for a job a lot of times. When I work for companies, before the applicant would come in for the interview, the hiring managers, they would go to their social media page to see
Yeah.
what they have posted and what they, that kind of thing, what they talk about, what they're attached to, and that kind of thing.
Yes.
And so just highlighting the importance of understanding, that how powerful media is. You can
Yeah.
use it to your benefit, you can use it to your advantage, or you can use it as a disadvantage to you.
And so with young people having that freedom, some, that's their outlet. And I love the fact of the changing of the mindset. If you're not used to seeing other than the Gulf Coast, and then we can use that as an example. When you take these young men, you all just went to Selma, wasn't it? While back, was it Selma?
Yeah. We were supposed to go, but the trip we actually ended up having to cancel the trip at last minute
with COVID and all of that.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
But tell us about your goal to have done that, to take the young men outside of the Gulf Coast so that they can see other things. How important is that?
It's very important. Just, kind of allowing these guys to kind of see something other than what they see every day. And so every year prior to the whole pandemic, we actually would do a college tour every year, and we go to various colleges.
That's so amazing.
So we've gone to Tennessee. We went to Tennessee State University, Fisk University. We've gone to Georgia, to colleges there in the Georgia area, colleges in Alabama, colleges in Louisiana, and just kind of getting them out of this element of this state, and just kind of exploring the areas. And also while we're there, we also would do something educational, or go to some type of historical museum or something along the lines of that. Like when we was in Georgia, we visited 2 colleges there in the Georgia area. And then we went to the Martin Luther King historical site there in the Georgia area.
Awesome.
And so, just understanding our history and the importance of it. Same, like, we took them to the museum in Jackson, that kind of thing. And so just allowing them to really just expanding their mind other than what they see here every day. And so, because there's things for them to do here in Mississippi, but at the same time, we are in an area to where if you're not exposed to positive things, you can kind of get trapped in a box, and then it leads you to doing the negative. We know
that. Now, I'm originally from North Carolina, but I've been on the coast now for going into 13 years. And you can see it. You're absolutely right. Is that we have things to do here. We do have cultural things to do. But and more, I'm just feeling to give a great big shout out to Miss Lexi, who has the Black-owned business chamber that we have here. Amazing work that shedding light. We talk about having the old the old candy stores on the corner. You're originally from here. This is home. This is born and raised for you. For me, coming to the coast and then learning it, that there's so many areas, such as over on Martin Luther King Drive and over by Isaiah Fredericks and all of that over in Gulfport. Those, I understand that they used to be little candy stores and Black-owned businesses, not just a barbershop. And not just a hair salon, but people actually had Black-owned businesses. And of course, they're, little by little is being rebuilt. But what you're doing with our young men, so letting them see themselves in other light, I think that is amazing. That is so amazing.
Absolutely.
You had something on your mind? You wanted
to say? No, I mean, it all goes back to the, the transforming of the mind. It's it's your mind is so powerful. You can be what you think. But you can also be what you see as well, and it all kind of goes hand in hand. And so my whole thing is just exposing these guys to positive things and exposing them to the things that they're interested in, that they may have a passion for, and to actually be able to find their purpose, and so that's what it's about.
It is. We want to give a great big shout out to your amazing wife and the mother of your children.
Absolutely.
And we want to thank you, Lady Taylor, for watching and listening and supporting your husband. Thank you for lending him to our community, because there has, I'm sure, sacrifice that time or whatever sacrifice that is made in a couple, in a marriage. And so you have that supporting team.
Yep.
That support of your wife and your family, your dad, your church family. You have that support, and that that is so much needed. And we support you. I cheer you
Absolutely.
on.
Thank you.
Listen, if I can never tell somebody about this young man, I do. And it's so amazing. Bishop Black had recommended you whenever we did the prayer. And we did one, and things, because the gun violence, Mr. Taylor, is just that I said, God, he said, it's time for you to do another one. I said, okay. So that was just my conversation with him. And it was a week after that, Miss Kelly was killed. You remember,
man, yeah.
Kelly and her baby.
Yep.
Were killed. And we still went ahead and we had the small gathering. So we're looking at how we can bring together other like-minded individuals. My assignment is just simply to pray.
Right.
That's my assignment, is to stand in the gap and pray. But there's others like yourself
right.
that we know here on the coast, and that we can bring together to bring about a change. And what you're doing and what others are doing is just a part of the puzzle. I say the part of the blanket that is causing the change on our coast. And
absolutely,
I'm here until Lord say differently. So
yes, ma'am.
So, you can always call me. Listen, I want to give again a great big shout out. Thank you. When I see this name, I think she's still with us, Vaughn Griggs has donated to, we're doing a yarn drive, Mr. Taylor. And
okay.
A yarn drive. There's a dear friend of mine who is she's a doctor up in New York, but she is at home, and she sews scarves for the homeless community.
Oh, wow.
She crochets scarves. And so we have made a pledge, or Book Talks with Sandy, is that we are going to be sending her tons of yarn so that she can get started. So when I say a yarn drive, and it's not that we want you to donate the money to me to send it. No, this is what we're saying to you all. Y'all know I've been saying it. So we're going to try to get Dr. Renee Mentor on in about a week or two, so that a lot of people know her, but there are people that don't know her. But we want the mailman to go into shock, because every day he's just going to be delivering.
Right.
Why are all of these packages going to Ms. Mentor? And it's because is that so many people want to sow into her ministry. It is her ministry. She's a minister and a doctor. And so we just love her. And we want to send a great big shout out to Pastor Sunday, all the way from Liberia, Africa. He is a continuing supporter of our broadcast. And so, sir, we do thank you. We honor you, and thank you for watching. And we bless you. Now, and yes, of course, Brenda and Tina. Tina is amazing. We've got to get you on her show. Well, we're almost. How can someone purchase your book? Let us know. How can they get this book in their hand?
Yeah, so they can actually purchase through archwaypublishing.com is one outlet. You can also go online to Amazon or Barnes and Nobles.
Okay. So Barnes and Nobles and Amazon, as you heard it, is Barnes and Noble, Amazon, and Archway Publishing. And we will make sure, and it is here. Okay. And y'all, this is the back of the book. So amazing. And again, this is The Crown. Let's talk about The Crown. Let's just talk about The Crown. Share with us.
Again, I mean, it's The Crown is all about empowerment. So the image of that picture is me actually taking the crown off of my head and handing it to the young men. And that's what that's about.
You better go ahead. See, that's how people, they mistake certain stuff. They'll look at, oh yeah, he a king. Yeah, I think he is. But come on now, that is so amazing.
Yes, ma'am.
That is amazing.
Thank you.
I love it. I had an author on, Marlo Mans was on with me 2 weeks ago. Maybe Marlo was on last week. I can't remember. but Marla has a book, and she talks about the king in him, and that's what her book is somewhat similar to that as well. And the little boy's grandmother kept calling him a king, and it's illustrated. It's a children's book. And so when he would look in the mirror, and some mirror you would see him without the crown, and then all of a sudden he has a pretend crown on his head.
Right.
Oh my goodness. So God is calling us. So I see now I feel the spirit of the Holy Ghost about right now, because our young men need to know their royal place in the kingdom of God.
Absolutely.
Talk to us about that. We got a few more minutes.
Yeah. I mean, at the end, like I said, I'm born and raised in the church, and so that's one of the things. A lot of my teachings and wisdom and knowledge, it came from church. And so again, one of the things that we do with our guys, and this was prior to pandemic, we're slowly kind of getting back to doing things how we normally used to do it. But every fourth Sunday, the whole group, everybody go to church. We all go to one church, and sometimes we visit my church. Sometimes we visit other churches where requested. Some of the guys that's in the program, we'll go to their church, but we all grow as a group. But every fourth Sunday, we all go to church together. And so just getting those teachings.
Okay, so you don't put that out there. So we're gonna want you to come on over to Faith Tabernacle, right? Come on, well up, see, okay?
Yeah, we don't mind. We'll be there. Yeah, we would definitely be there.
We are gathering. We do our social distancing, our masks, and our temperatures. But come on, yes, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
We'll have you absolutely. Well, it has been amazing. You all, again, you want to get this book, Barnes and Noble, Archway, and it's archwaypublishing.com.
Yes, ma'am.
And you want to look for Empowering Black Youth Through Mentoring. And this amazing author who has, I really, really want to take quality time and really hear what you have to say. And I'm just so honored to have you here at Book
Yes,
Talks.
ma'am.
In
Thank
a few
you
minutes, we're going
to
do, absolutely. We're going to have some announcements, and y'all saw me bring up a couple of things here earlier, but I want to share. Thank you all for watching Sunday's conversation of Book Talks with Sandy. Every now and then I'll do a Sunday broadcast, and it's been that quite a bit lately, but I am so thankful that you all are with me and just sharing our platform. I do want to share an upcoming, let me see if I can find it. I have a program, not a program. Well, yes, this will be next Friday night. I can't find the actual picture right now, but on Friday night, I want you all to join me. I will be interviewing Pastor Paulette Harper and the contributing authors Friday night and part 2 on Saturday of her new anthology book called For Such a Time as This. It is 20 total authors, men and women, who will be sharing their heart about their experiences, their successes, their challenges in life, and yes, declaring that for such a time as this. And so we're very excited. Look out for the post. We'll be dropping that later on today, that you will see the announcement for them being on. And one more, let me see, what else can I find here? I did have a photo up just a second ago. I was sharing with you all that I have had the privilege of being the forwarding author of an amazing book. And we're very excited that that book is being released. That book is being released. It's being released this week. I want to share that book with you, if I may. And here. Thank you all for being so patient, and we are very excited. There it is. It is The Joyful Heart. It is a reflection of gratitude, grace, and praise. And so being an author, having the opportunity to do a forward is such an honor, such a pleasure. And you do want to get this book in your hand. The amazing international best-selling author, Sheila Farr, who is, as you know, she presented, we also did Thankful and Blessed, 365 days. And so here we come with another book. And what the whole idea behind this is that we provide sources when our country and our world and our community is going through so much. every now and then you just want to pick up something that's going to inspire you. So these are books, these two books, the devotional are prayers, devotional songs, just words of encouragement to get one through. And so look out, we'll be doing our book release on the 21st. So look out for that. We'll want you all to get this digital copy in your hand, the e-copy, get that in your hand. And so we're very excited about this particular book that is coming out. Okay. And I want to say that that is really about it. We are very thankful. You all keep watching, share it, look at the replay. And again, I am Sandy Sanders. We are so thankful to our guest today. You all, he's such an amazing young man. Again, author of Empowering Black Youth Through Mentoring. And as he says, you see the crown. The crown is that he takes it off and he gives it to, as a symbol of giving it to a young man. Okay. And so at this time, what I'm going to do is ask Mr. Abra, if you will, just come on and share your heart with us. If you will, I'm going to step back for a minute and let me see. I've done something here on my, can you hear music?
Yeah, I can hear a little music.
Yeah, I don't know why the music is still on. There it is right there. Okay. All right. We want to take that off. Okay. Sometimes I have a Facebook on and then some church music will come up. That's what we'll do. But you all, I'm going to step back and just let our final words come from our guest today. And then we will close out. Okay.
Yeah. First and foremost, I definitely want to thank you for having me on and bringing me on your platform to share my story and talk about my book. I'm very appreciative, and also want to thank all the viewers for viewing it, for tuning in, and thank you for all the support. And God bless everybody.
All right. Well, thank you so much. And God bless you. God bless your family. And listen, it has been amazing. And again, be right back with you. Okay.
Yes,
All right,
ma'am.
don't go anywhere. Ladies and gentlemen, it has truly been a pleasure. I'm so thankful that you took time to watch our Sunday afternoon conversation. Pastor Sunday, thank you so much for watching us all the way from Africa. Thank you for my dear friend down in South Carolina, Tina Ramsey. You are, as they say, the bomb.com. I'm loving it. Thank you for the support. Vaughn, thank you for sewing into our ministry. We're so thankful, and we'll let you know we're going to get those yarns so that we can get them up to New York so that we can bless some people, okay? And Lady Johanna, you're always the queen of queens. Yes, we thank you for watching us all the way from the Virgin Islands. You are so supportive, and all of you. I'm just happen to be looking at the names. Brenda, great big shout out to you. And then all of those that said yes, what an amazing show. Yes, we were looking forward to Minister Taylor coming on and just sharing his heart, but mostly the impact that he makes in our community, and that it's so impactful that many are wanting to have a model, use this as a model for their community, because so many times we're finding that our young Black men are being forgotten about. But I can tell you that God has not forgotten them. And that's the message. God has not forgotten about your son. God has not forgotten about your grandson. The Lord has certainly not forgotten about your husband, your nephew. And he wants to, yes, have his light to shine upon them, give them the grace. And we pray for God to send mentors such as Mr. Taylor, Minister Taylor, and his team. As he lets you know, he doesn't do it by himself. It is by the grace of God. And God gives him those tools, those individuals, those servants, those team members, those other mentors, that it takes a village to raise up a child. And we are so supported. Thank you, moms, for trusting this young man and your children in his hands. Listen, it has been a pleasure. This has been Sandy Sanders on a great Sunday afternoon. Enjoy your family for the rest of the day. Grab something, grab some empowering information, grab a book, grab something that will empower you and leading up into this upcoming week. Okay. And so until we meet again, you all know that I love you. And listen, have a blessed afternoon. Take care. All right. And bye-bye.